I don't get intimidated. People do not intimidate me anymore.
Hello again. This is Rob Williams with another Women of Jiu-Jitsu interview. What got you interested in Jiu-Jitsu originally?
I was actually in a emotionally and psychologically abusive relationship and
Oh,
wanted to leave that relationship. So, and I'm very like open about talking about this, especially like
okay.
when I talk to, people at the gym and stuff. So it's easy for me to talk about. But when I wanted to leave the relationship, I wanted to have a way to defend myself.
Mm,
And I went to a women's self-defense seminar at my gym, and I talked to one of the guys there who's trained martial arts for years and years. And I asked him, I said, which martial arts is the best form for self-defense? And he
mm.
said, Jiu-Jitsu. I signed up and went to class that following Monday and have not stopped going to class since that Monday. And that was March of 2018.
What style of Jiu-Jitsu do you practice primarily? Gi, no gi?
Both. I
Okay.
want to be well-rounded in both the gi and no gi. I love both. I have a personal, I don't even want to say personal preference to no gi. I feel more confident in no gi. And that's because I'm smaller, and so it's harder for people to hang on.
What is your current belt rank?
Blue.
Okay. If you feel comfortable sharing, what gym do you train at?
UFC gym in Greenville, South Carolina.
Let's say that you're traveling, or maybe you decide to move to a new place. What are some things that you look for in a martial arts gym?
First of all, the instructor, how the instructor teaches is going to be a big thing for me. Making sure that I can understand techniques. I want to have like a variety of classes, like enough no-gi classes. Um, as far as like getting a feel for the people there, it definitely helps when you have a lot of people like your size. I'm smaller, so it
Mm,
helps when I can go to gyms and I have people, both men and women, um, who are smaller, but I mean, really, what I would look for first is the instruction, like how
mm,
techniques are taught, how I can drill them. If it's something that's taught consistently versus like, oh, you learn one technique one day, and then like on Monday it's one technique,
mhm.
and then Tuesday it's a different one. As long as it's
Oh,
consistent, I can follow that. So like that's what we do now, and that's how I learn now. Is the techniques are taught. There's a theme for every month.
oh, cool.
So we're able
Okay.
to transitions and go like whether it's guard playing or defense, and we go back and forth between like the offense and defense from um, every different position. And that's just how my mind works too. Is that I mean
Mm.
the consistency within what I'm learning and being able to also have people who are willing to like drill and do specific training with me even outside of class.
What is it like training in an overwhelmingly male-dominated sport?
I'm actually okay with it. Um,
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's specifically because like I'm around a lot of really good guys at my gym. I'm
Mm.
very lucky. Like big guys, high rank. Um for me, I haven't encountered an issue with it. Yes, there have been like a few like people here and there that have been a little problematic, but as long as
Mm.
I can avoid it, it's not a problem. Like I don't as long as they don't see it as a problem then I have no problem with it.
Are there any barriers or challenges that you've had to overcome specifically because of this being a male-dominated sport?
I don't know if I've had to encounter it because it's been a male dominated sport. The fact that I'm able to work with men has actually been beneficial. And this is what I try to talk
Oh,
about
good.
to other females who are thinking about doing jiu-jitsu or joining the gym. And like I said, I'm very lucky. I know that there I mean there's so many gyms all over the place where they might not be as lucky as me, but
Mm.
as far as it goes for me, it's good conditioning. And especially with like my background and history of like what I've been through, the guys that I train with have been extremely helpful. Because sometimes you're gonna roll with a guy who's gonna be more aggressive, who's gonna have an ego. He doesn't want to like be tapped out by a girl, or have a female have any advantages over him as far as like passing guard or whatever. So I haven't encountered challenges. It's been so much more beneficial as far as just conditioning myself, because I have rolled with a few guys that have that ego mindset, and what it's done is just condition me to be like, okay, here's a real scenario. Because for me being a female, if something happens to me, let's say I'm going for a run or something happens, I'm more likely going to be calmer in a situation because I've been in like those high stress situations from rolling, especially with bigger men or some aggressive men. But as far as it goes, it's been super helpful as far as like conditioning my mind as well as physically.
Do you compete?
I started competing in September.
I,
And because like when I was a white belt, everybody kept telling me to compete as a white belt. I was like, no, there are no, because of where I'm located, we don't get a whole lot of tournaments. We get the bigger tournaments. We do get like the new breed tournaments in our area, but not in my division.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
My first tournament was in Atlanta. It was IBJJF, because I'm a light feather. So starting to compete, and I liked it. I haven't won any tournaments, and then we had a local tournament that was like an invitational for all our local gyms. Lost my first match in that one as well, but I like competing. I'm like, and I'm still like a blue belt. I'm still like, I think I'm on the fresh end of being a blue belt. So now I'm, getting a taste for it and seeing what I have to do. I actually really like it.
Did you ever feel pressured to compete by anybody?
No, it was not pressure. It was encouragement.
Okay.
Yeah. So the more people were encouraging me rather than, no, you have to compete. Because like my coach, he's like, he doesn't care if we compete at all. Compete at all. He's supportive either way. But no pressure, just more encouragement. People actually believing in my skill level helped me feel more confident to say, okay, maybe I can see, where my jiu-jitsu's at.
Have you ever felt intimidated about going into a jiu-jitsu class?
Yes. And it's only, I think, cross training. So obviously not at my gym. I'm okay with open mats as well. But sometimes just a little bit, yeah, maybe, I don't know. And I think it's just a self-conscious thing rather than like what the people are doing. It's more internal versus what I'm getting a feel from the gym. But every time I've cross trained, I've had really good experiences. So I walk in there just a little weary, but come out happy.
Was there anything that was particularly helpful in helping you overcome some of these feelings of intimidation?
I guess the more I train and then like go into cross training, then I feel better. Like I literally had this experience last night. Like I went cross trained at a different gym. I wasn't sure what I was going to expect, because sometimes you don't know if the instructors are going to have you roll or not. And when you're just like, oh, I got to roll a straight, like you have no idea how it's going to go. But what helped me is just the more that I train and the better my jiu-jitsu gets, then I can handle myself. And so it's literally like everything that I do consistently, just it beats that. Like I literally just have to keep training and work on little things. And a big thing is just letting my ego go. Anytime I step on a mat, like my ego is gone. So there are things like, I'm not going to get injured just to save my ego from getting my guard passed or, having to tap out. Like, so it's just being consistent with training as well as letting my ego go step aside so I can just learn.
What has jiu-jitsu done for you? So, for example, increase your confidence, helped you feel healthier physically, expanded your network of friends and family. But first, a message from our sponsors. I say, just kidding. I don't have any sponsors around here at this point. It's a one-man operation. Anyway, my name is Robin Williams. I'm the CEO and founder of BJJ2 MMA LLC. I want to let you know that I spent in excess of 80 plus hours doing the research, the writing, the scheduling interviews with people, conducting the interviews, doing editing and other post-production stuff. as well as doing research into the things that people reference during the interviews. I can include links for folks who want to seek more information. I did all this outside of my night job, which is working full-time, as well as my training schedule. So all that to say, it takes a lot of effort to produce content like this, but I really do enjoy doing it. So if you want to support my work and you want to see more content like this in the future, I would highly encourage you to go over to bjj2mma.com/donate to learn more. Thank you.
All of the above. So
Okay.
like my gym, like the people at my gym are my friends. They're my gym family. Like I have this really cool community that I belong to, which is like, that's the number one thing. Because jujitsu is like a language in and of itself. Like no matter where you go or who you train with, like the language of jujitsu translates. So that's like been the big thing. Two is self-confidence. I can handle myself. And like I said, like I'm smaller. I'm not going to start a fight with someone, but like I walk around, with better posture. I don't get intimidated. People do not intimidate me anymore. Like there's like nothing intimidates me. Like, I mean, I have grown like the way some like strangers will talk to me just because of like work and stuff. And I'm like, okay, like I feel calmer, patient. I can handle high stress situations. I can, I guess, I don't want to say think more clearly, but it's just like I'm definitely more confident in who I like in myself and who I am and like how I carry myself. So that's been like part of it. So it's just everything that jujitsu has done. Like I tell people, I'm like, jujitsu has saved my life. Like that is a real thing for me. Be it the friends that I've made who are, considered family, as well as, just carrying myself differently with confidence and not letting someone intimidate me or, just make me feel small. Like that doesn't exist.
There is a very common phenomenon in sports called the blue belt blues. And I was just curious, what keeps you coming back to train?
I guess it's literally just obviously the social aspect. Like my friends are at the gym. I don't have a lot of other hobbies. Like jujitsu has been like the hobby that I found that like when I come home from work, I know what it was like before jujitsu. So jujitsu provided this means for me to just finish out my day in such a good, healthy way. And getting better at a skill. Like I know the blue belt blues does exist. I do have those days where I get frustrated, especially with the competition part. Because what's funny with blue belt that I'm seeing and I'm experiencing are there's this fresh side of being a blue belt, and then there's this side of being a blue belt, like this mature blue belt where people have been a blue belt for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They're so close to being a purple belt that there's this discrepancy, and it's just a matter of the time that they've put into training that you haven't gotten there. So taking the comparison out of it, because what prevents like those blue belt blues or keeps me back to training is I have really good training partners that push me and are helping me get better. And in turn, I'm helping them get better as well. But that's what keeps bringing me back. Like I'm like, I can't not finish this. I can't
Excellent. Okay.
Plus, every time I sign up for a tournament or a competition, I've got to go train at the gym. So it doesn't matter if what's going on. I can, or sometimes it doesn't have to be a focus on every role. I just have to like tap someone. I have to dominate. It's learning different parts or like focusing on like specific training where I'm like, okay, if we're going to roll, don't pass my guard. I can't let you pass my guard. Or working an escape. So it's being more focused in my training versus looking at it overall like, oh, well, I don't have a stripe, or, I suck because I can't tap these people out. It's that's literally what keeps me coming back.
After the training you've done so far, what is the advice you would give yourself on your first day of jiu-jitsu, if you could?
Give myself credit. Not just like obviously be patient with myself. Which is what I had that first day, but it's giving myself credit for the progress I'm making, because giving myself credit for starting something new, starting something very uncomfortable, because my first day I showed up and it was 4 guys and me and another girl. So there's this weird, I don't know what it is that, like, when females are training together and they have to partner up together. Some of my best training partners have been guys. And well, like, my main training partner who got me from white to blue belt was a guy. Like, it was a male. He, like, literally helped me get my blue belt, but she was a female and she was probably like, I would say 2 to 3 times my size. And we were doing cross collar chokes from mount my first day. And I'm sitting there and I didn't know what to do, because, like, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't research jujitsu. I was like, okay, just, like, shut up. Like, I called my gym and was like, what's the difference between gi and no gi? Like, all this stuff, you know. But I walk in there, or do these cross chokes from out, and I'm just like, I can't. And I tapped, and my coach looks at me, he's like, you can't tap because you're uncomfortable. So the big advice is continue to give myself credit.
What do you think would help more women and girls get into the sport of jiu-jitsu?
I think finding their purpose within it, because there's so many things. Like, a lot of people talk about self-defense, which is, and that's a big part of it, but when we these self-defense things are, it's targeted to women to make us already feel like victims in a way, like, if that makes sense. So for me, it would be like finding purpose and strength, developing self-confidence. So it would, because it would really depend. And that, like, for me, that's what I would take into it. Like, yeah, my target would be like, okay, you came from this, you know, shitty relationship or shitty experience, so go and do something to protect yourself. But it's literally, it provides a mean for self-confidence. And, you know, and that's for most people. But I think that would be what, for me, that's what it would be. Would be, it's a way to gain a lot of self-confidence. Whether it's protecting yourself, not getting intimidated, you carry yourself differently, all these different aspects, being part of a community. And this isn't, and another reason, like, when I'm around people who feel like they're not making friends where they live, like, I have a lot of different, like, friends and family long distance, and I'm like, if you are not making friends doing other things, I'm like, do jujitsu, join a jujitsu gym. You will make so many friends. So that's another aspect. It's like the social aspect. Like, it's a lack of isolation. So for me, it would be more the emotional part of finding, like, a purpose and gaining some self-confidence and developing friendships and a support system. So that's what it would be.
How do you think gym owners and instructors can help make environments more welcoming for girls in the gym?
Listen to concerns of the women, because something that will tend to happen, and it's not necessarily bullying, but you're going to find people in your gym who make you feel uncomfortable, and people who, like, if I'm like, I can't roll with this person, I don't want to roll with this person, not in like an ego aspect, but I'm scared I'm going to get hurt. And I don't feel comfortable rolling with this person until my skill gets better, that I feel like I can handle it. So that's the big thing. It's a concern of just, hey, listen, like, when I say someone's going to be problematic, just kind of hear me out with that and understanding. And it's the same thing too. Like, if you have, like, the bully or just someone who makes people feel uncomfortable, then it's like, just listen to, like, hear the people out, and then go for it. Like, use your best judgment and go forward. So if it's like, I don't want to roll with that person, I don't feel comfortable, then don't make them roll with that person. They don't have to partner with them in a drill.
What is one thing that you wish male jiu-jitsu practitioners would know about female practitioners?
We are not delicate like flowers. And you don't have to be too careful, but just use your technique. Just use your technique with me. Because that, I think that's a big thing, because it can go two different ways. It's they treat us too delicately, or they just go 110% because there's this ego thing of not being beat by a girl. But really, it's helping us get better. It's helping us condition ourselves for more stressful situations, and So my advice is just like, listen to the females, what they're saying. Like if they, before you slap hands, bump wrists, if they're, or bump fists, like whatever there's a concern for, just listen to them. But I mean, as far as it goes, it's just use your technique with us. Like you don't have to use all your strength, just use the right amount of technique and strength, and it'll be good training.
Are you an instructor, or do you have a desire to instruct others in the future?
I assist with the kids class.
Oh, awesome.
So as far as becoming an instructor, I'm not sure yet, but going to the kids class is like my little kind of like not a break, or I don't know what it is, but it helps me look at techniques from a different side of like something that's taught to the adults is taught so differently to kids. I like to assist the kids coach, so because sometimes he'll have a lot of kids up there, or there's someone new, or there's a girl, like you'll see some of the little girls come in, and just like it helps me work with those people and just kind of figure out where, like, I don't know what, like how to help people better, help explain techniques better.
I really want to show anybody who's watching this that we're all human, whether you're all the way down at the white belt or you've been doing this for 20 plus years and you're a black belt. So what is one embarrassing moment during your jiu-jitsu journey that you've either experienced personally or been a part of?
I don't know if it's like embarrassing, because I've learned to laugh at myself a lot. So like, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I have nothing embarrassing, but this was embarrassing. Like, I was drilling and my pants ripped, but I
Oh,
had
no.
spats. So it wasn't like super embarrassing. It was just like, like crap. My pants just, I don't have any other knee pads, but I kept going, so I've laughed at that. Or like, when you get swept and sometimes you land like on your face, or like you do something, just like there's more silly parts of it. And so like I've just embraced the silliness, because like if you take it too seriously, then it's not going to be fun. Like jiu-jitsu is not enjoyable if you take it too seriously. But it's like, I mean, yeah, like my gi pants ripping is an example. And I literally had like was going to another gi class, and I didn't have another clean gi except for my gi with the jacket and ripped gi pants. So, because everything else was in the wash, and so I had to take that. People are like, "Is there a hole in your pants?" It's like a big gaping hole, and I was like, "Yeah," but I'm like, I've got spats on under. I was like, I got leggings. Like, it's fine. So,
hey, good on you, sister. Good on you.
Yeah.
Who are some inspirational female figures for you? Ideally in grappling, but any other female figure is fine as well.
Sophia McDermott. She's like, I've done seminars with her, and I've gone and trained with her when I go out to Vegas, and like I've gone to her lifestyle camp. And so she's been like a big one for me, because she's a small female, but she's also like a badass and like so good. Be a mosquito, like her. And like, so I mean, those are like two women that I really look up to, and I'm like, okay, like when I'm trying to push myself in my conditioning, I'm like, okay, I got it, I got to be like Bia, like, or just like it helps push me in my training. So the more I see women within the world of jiu-jitsu, and I see them compete in like absolute divisions, that's a big thing for me too. Like watching Mackenzie Dern compete against Gabby Garcia like 3 different times. Like she keeps going. I'm like, that's so cool. And like, what's her name? I think it's Talia Alencar. Like seeing her in absolute with Claudia Doval. Claudia Doval's another one, but like just seeing these women like just go and not care and just do what they need to do is like, that's what's really inspiring for me. Like they just put themselves in these situations. They go out there, they risk getting hurt, but those are some women I look up to.
Imagine there's a little girl out there who may be interested in jiu-jitsu, but is just feeling kind of shy about it. What would you tell her to help get her through the door and onto the mat for her first class?
I see a lot of like the little girls, and it's not just some of the, other females. So if they feel too shy, sometimes I encourage them. Like I'm always saying that I'm willing to work with them. If it's someone coming into my gym.
Okay.
But if it's someone like, they're going to a different gym, I always say, okay, always stress your concerns to the instructor or gym owner. depending on where you're going. Whatever your concerns are, ask those questions. Reach out to, and I know I said this like, but sometimes it's reach out to another female in class. Find someone who's similar to your size. And just kind of like relax and learn. And if they're too shy, I would always tell them just to watch a class. They don't have to join, like just jump right in, just watch a class first, talk to the instructor. If they see other females in the class, talk to them, and any concerns or questions you have, do that. Because I do that too. Like I see a lot of women who like, they want to join and I sit and talk to them. And I see some like, and then the little girls who come to kids class, you know, it's funny. This is what's funny too, is like the women get a little skittish, but then you see these little girls come right into kids class and like they like
right?
the boys and they don't care. So I think it's like, if I'm seeing someone who I see is like weary, like a female, that's what I would do. I would say, sit in, stress any of your concerns to your instructor. And then, you know, talk to like other females and, you know, ask the questions that, because there's some things, especially if you're coming from like an abusive background or like a trauma-based background, because you may possibly have triggers. That's a big thing too. And you don't have to disclose that too. Like I wouldn't say disclose that, but do understand that yourself. If that's what if you're coming to do jujitsu because of trauma that you've already experienced, make sure you understand your triggers as well. That's it. That would be another big thing.
Are there any female-friendly groups or organizations or gyms that you know that I can refer people to if they're curious for more information?
There, like Facebook has a women's grappling group. So I think it's like women's grappling. I think that's what it is. That one for sure, because you're gonna talk to like, because you're gonna get women from all over the place, and it's gonna be grappling. So it's gonna be wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And see, I'm not part, and the only other group that I know of is like my gym has our own group. It's a women's jiu-jitsu, just Facebook group that we can share things with each other. And I can't think of anything, or reach out like, so because social media is such a good thing, especially Instagram. Like if you see people who have like on Instagram that like, you're like, okay, this person, you know, they do jiu-jitsu, they grapple, they do all this stuff. Like if you can, reach out to them and ask questions, and then, you know, get involved like that way too. I mean, that's what I another way I would do it is like if you're on Instagram and you see a cool video, and then, you know, reaching out.
There's lots of gear out there for guys, you know, rash guards, spats, gi pants, you know, various other accessories. Do you have any gear recommendations for female jiu-jitsu practitioners?
Habrick, as far like, I love their gis, and they have like a rash guard, like a short sleeve rash guard, and pants. They have long sleeve one that's like the blue belt one. So before I got my blue belt, I was like, it makes me look like a Power Ranger, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. So that's a really good one. Ranger Up have the best leggings, like the best. And I'm trying to think if I've seen any other. Where are my rash guards from? 93 brand. I love their rash guards. They have the cutest rash guards, because you can get those on like BJJ HQ and their website. Those are my favorites right now.
Okay.
As far as like those, yeah. So as far as like spats and rash guards go, those are the brands that I would go to.
The purpose with this project is to have a permanent record, so that if someone's interested in jiu-jitsu or they're trying to get a loved one into it, they can always go back to it later for support. So do you have like a website or any social media or something that you feel comfortable sharing if people want to follow you on your jiu-jitsu journey?
My Instagram's probably going to be the best, because I don't have like a website or anything like right now. So my Instagram handle's good.
Really appreciate you sitting down and talk with me. Another great winner of jiu-jitsu interview, and hopefully you'll end up continuing your jiu-jitsu journey into the future, past blue belts, and hopefully on a black belt and teaching others. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, with all that said, my name is Ron Williams. You can find me over at bjj2mma.com, and I'll see you on the mats.